What is river etiquette and how to have it? What's up, guys? My name is Will Mallon. I'm the owner of First Light Fishing Company. I'm an angler with over a decade of fishing experience, and in today's video we're talking about what is river etiquette and how do you have it. So river etiquette is basically having the manners on the river. Just like when you're eating dinner, there's certain things you don't do at the dinner table, not because they're illegal, but just because you don't do it. Kind of the unwritten rules of society, honestly. So all good river etiquette is making everyone's time on the water as enjoyable as possible and not being too selfish to only yourself. In a way, on the water, you kind of have to be a little bit selfish if you want to catch a lot of fish. If you let people cast over your line all the time and take your spot and don't let you in and really impede your fish catching ability, then really that's not being selfish enough. But being too selfish would be if there's 50 guys fishing a hole and you're running drifts down the whole length of the hole in front of everybody, especially during salmon season. That's really kind of unacceptable. You know, it can be hard to find spots to float fish in the popular waters during salmon season, but you know, just because there's people there, I get it. Like, you don't want to catch less fish because people are there, but in a way you kind of gotta control yourself and not drift down past everyone, because now you're one person impeding 50 people's day of fishing. What I usually do is I walk down, find a spot where there's other float fishermen, and then you can kind of slide in, because float fishing guys and flossing, snagging, bottom bouncing guys don't really mix. The timing of the cast don't really mix, and you get tangled and people get mad. So either find an open spot or just make your drift shorter. But anyway, good river etiquette is making everyone's day on the water as enjoyable as possible. So if we reverse engineer this, how would we make everyone's day less enjoyable? It would be being rude to them, not helping them, not offering to land their fish, not offering to net their fish, not giving insights on what the fish are biting on, casting over people's lines, casting over lines when they're fighting fish, and going right next to somebody when there's a bunch of open water. That would be all the stuff to do to make someone's day worse. Now flip it, good river etiquette would be, if it's a wide open hole and there's one person, don't go right next to them. I remember last season, I was fishing Oswego, this long hole, honestly, probably like 300 feet long. And there was a guy that came down and he went right next to me, close enough where I could touch his shoulder. And that's kind of unacceptable. And he came down, I was float fishing, and he was just snagging fish. He had a big, not a treble hook, not to that extent, but he had big weight. He was just casting, just ripping. And my thoughts kind of are, there's nobody else in this portion of the river. I'm not gonna catch less fish because you're here. I'm gonna keep running my drifts. Just because there are more spots 100 feet up, 100 feet down that you could go. I'm not gonna catch less fish because you chose to go right next to me, impeding me, having bad river etiquette towards me. I'm not gonna catch less fish because of that. But there's the other thing where people get very defensive about spots because of the time they got there. If you get to a spot at 7 o'clock and start fishing it, sometimes guys will say, oh, I've been here since 5 a.m. kind of thinking they have more right to the spot than you do. And situationally, they kind of do. But if you zoom out, no one owns that particular spot of the river. So as long as you both have good river etiquette, you both can fish the same spot. Another time, also during salmon season, in a way the rules kind of go out the window during salmon season in a lot of spots, is because there are so many guys fishing for a lot of fish. It's kind of a free-for-all, honestly. A lot of these rules apply more to steelhead season or less populated spots. Well, I've seen days on Salmon River where it's just a free-for-all. It looks like a circus. People are just doing whatever the hell they want. But one time on Oswego also, I was fishing, and there was a good group of guys fishing, probably 10 guys, but not too close. Like I could probably barely touch them with my rod. And I've had guys start fishing behind me. And for this, I'm also kind of thinking there's holes upstream, there's holes downstream, and you could honestly slide in next to me. Like if they would have asked me, I would have said, yeah, come on in. But they were casting over me. It's just kind of weird. They were literally casting over me, and then when they were reeling back, their hooks were going right by my face. Like that, it's a dangerous thing too. I'll make a video on that in the future on river safety, but just don't do 2 rows of people ever. That's just I'd rather ask someone and have them get mad versus just start casting over them. Good river etiquette is if someone hooks a fish in a hole, don't start casting too close to where they're fighting the fish. Because there's been times where I'm fighting a fish and the fish is in the middle of the hole. And guys keep casting and they end up snagging my fish that I'm fighting or snagging my line, and oftentimes losing the fish, snapping my line, snapping their line, nothing good comes out of it. A lot of this is because they're impatient. They can't wait 10 seconds for me to get the fish out of their way before they do another cast. I get you don't want to catch less fish because of me, but I'll do the same to you. When you hook your fish, I will wait to cast until you get your fish a safe distance away. But that's one thing that would make the time on the water a lot more enjoyable, is if I hook a fish, kind of clear the hole. Get everyone's lines out of the hole. If you hook a fish, I'll do the same for you. Of course, if one person's fighting a fish on up at the head of the hole and you're fishing down at the tail out of the hole, you don't have to stop because you're not close enough for it to really matter. But have some good situational awareness, and if the fish is coming down towards you, then you want to take your line out of the water. Just to avoid hassle, avoid tangles, all that stuff. Because really, if you avoid tangles, that is more time spent fishing, less time spent retying. So really taking 10 seconds to not cast again will save you time and allow you to fish more instead of retying. Netting fish. A lot of times if I see a guy, he's by himself, he's fighting a fish, it can be hard in a lot of spots to actually land the fish yourself. So if I'm not actively fighting a fish or tying a knot or something, I will oftentimes offer to lend a hand. Like, do you want a net? Want me to net the fish for you? And a lot of times they'll say no, but it's still good that you offered. And oftentimes they'll say yeah. So you'll follow them. Always take it to a shallow spot. I never scoop out of deep water. Get it to where it's shallow enough to see it and then scoop it, not just scooping blind. But I will oftentimes net people's fish for them. That way they can unhook it out of the net and stuff like that. But the risk that comes with this is if you mess up the net job, they're mad at you because they lost the fish. So it's kind of a risk you got to be willing to take sometimes to lend a hand. But pick and choose the people you help. If they're gonna be mad at you if you mess up, even if it is their fault, if they're still gonna be mad at you, don't help those guys. But most people are understanding, and just don't scoop blind. No matter what they say, don't scoop blind. Wait till you see the fish, get the head first, and scoop them up. I'll make a video on that too in the future, how to net fish properly. Also, for good river etiquette is not stealing spots. So at the Oswego Dam, there's kind of a thing that goes on. If a guy at the head of the hole hooks a fish and he goes down to fight it, the next guy will move up to his spot. And that's not stealing his spot. That's just temporarily using his spot until you hook a fish and you go downstream to fight it. Because there have been times in my very early days of going up to Oswego, my dad and I, there'd be 5 guys fishing a hole, decently spread out. One guy will hook a fish, and since we were already in the area, we kind of moved up a little bit to his spot. And he started screaming at us. He had 2 fish on a stringer. He was fighting a fish. It was my dad and I's one of our first times up there. We were so inexperienced our first times up there that we didn't even have studded boots. We were straight rubber soles. But I guess we didn't really know the rules of the road, whatever. But this guy thought we were stealing his spot. And while he's fighting the fish, he's screaming at us. And my thoughts kind of are, while you're down fighting the fish, you're not using the spot, I could fish it a little bit. And then when you come back up, I'll move. It's just the time it's not being used, maybe I could use it. I don't care if people do that to me. As long as I can get back in the spot that I was, we're good. But I don't know, it's probably better to ask if someone's leaving the spot, oh, could we fish that spot a little bit until you get back? Sure, that way they know the plan and they know that you're not just straight up stealing their spot and not letting them back in. And during salmon season, the angler spacing will be a lot tighter than during steelhead season. A lot more anglers want to go out for salmon, a lot more abundance of fish, and warmer weather than steelhead tends to be a lot of the time. So naturally, more guys will be out there. During salmon season, like I said, the rules kind of go out the window in a way. You can kind of fish wherever you want, cast wherever you want, but still have some self-control to not impede other anglers' day on the water. During steelhead season, the rules are a little more strict as far as river etiquette goes. If I'm fishing a hole and there's nobody, if I'm fishing on the river and there's like 5 guys on the whole river, I would think it's bad for someone to come fishing even 20 feet downstream of me. Of course, I won't really mind, but if there's 10 holes that are open and only 5 guys fishing it, why not just go to your own hole? That way you have all the room in the world, you're fishing unpressured fish. They call this low holing or high holing. If someone's fishing a spot and you go right above them, right below them, called high holing, low holing, meaning kind of impeding the personal space of the hole that they have been fishing. During steelhead season, less guys on the river, a lot more strict on this. If there's nobody on the hole and there's plenty of holes open, why go right below where someone else is? New guys could be thinking, oh, that's the only spot where the fish are. If this guy's here, but the fish can be anywhere. Anywhere there's a hole, the fish can be there. So don't high hole, don't low hole too bad, unless you ask them. If you ask people, like if someone asked me, I wouldn't care. Yeah, come on in. If you're not gonna impede my fishing, I'm not gonna impede yours. Be a win-win. And maybe I can net your fish, or I can give you some tips, or you can do the same for me. You know. And high holing, low holing is kind of like this. So picture a wide open parking lot. You go to a store and the parking lot is wide open, 1,000 spaces. You're parked in the parking lot. You're right in a spot, right in the middle. Car pulls in and he parks right next to you. Wouldn't that piss you off? You have the whole parking lot. Why do you choose to go right next to me? And this is something that happens kind of too often in my experience. I don't like guys parking right next to me. I like to keep my cars dent free. I know a lot of people are pretty free with their doors and open right up. But I like to keep my cars clean, nice, and if the parking lot is wide open, just choose a different spot. Like, why you gotta come right next to me? That's what guys are thinking on the water. If you got the whole river, why are you coming right next to me? Give yourself some room, spread out, and we can all catch some fish. If you know the spot and there are people that don't know the spot, you can give them a helping hand in a non-egocentric way. Like when I was first starting, I would hate when people would be like kind of talking down on me because it's my first time out there. They'd be like, oh, I've been fishing out here for 20 years and talking very highly of themselves. In a way, I kind of understand that. Like, they've been fishing it for a long time. They really understand it, but they wouldn't really help me in any way. They were kind of just bragging about how many fish they caught and how long they've been fishing it. What I like to do is, if I see a new father and son or whoever out there that you can tell they don't really know what to do and don't know where to go, just start talking to them. Figure out if it is their first time, if they know where to go, if they know what baits to use, and if not, give them some tips, give them some advice, but not in a bragging or egocentric way. Just kind of truly informative manner. Like, fish these baits in this spot, this way, and catch these fish. And also, kind of from a safety aspect as well. At Oswego, Salmon River, there's spots that you can cross to get to new waters to fish from the other side, or at the Oswego Dam to fish up at the dam. To new people, those crossings are extremely nerve-wracking. I know my first time, I was thinking, like, you got to put a life jacket on. There's a risk of drowning, which there definitely can be because you're fishing in moving water. But if you do it safely, you'll be perfectly fine. And that really is a huge part of having river etiquette, is helping keep people safe. You know, if at Oswego, if there's guys that don't know how to cross it or they don't have spikes on, let them cross with you. Offer to take them. Offer to cross with them. You know, there's certain rocks you gotta watch out for. There's certain deep spots with fast current you got to watch out for. Offer to cross with them. You know, if you're heading up, say you can follow me if you want. And in my first YouTube videos of fishing the dam on my old channel, that's actually what a guy did. We were trying to cross, we didn't know what to do. A guy saw us, he said, you can cross me if you want. We did that. We fished the whole day with him. We learned a lot of stuff and we ended up hooking a lot of fish. So once you learn it, you can kind of repay it to other people, and it's kind of a win-win. You know, it's awesome to learn stuff. It feels great to help people. A win-win from both sides. So if you're new, ask for help. If you're experienced, offer help, but not in a bragging way. Purely helpful and informative way. At the end of the day, you know, we're all out there for the same reason. We're trying to catch these wonderful fish that nature has to offer us. In these beautiful rivers that hold these amazing fish, we're out there to have a good time. You know, everyone's away from work. Sometimes it is their work if they're a fishing guide, but at the end of the day, we're all out there to have a good time and catch some fish. It's not worth getting in fights. It's not worth hurting anyone over just trying to catch some fish. There's not millions of dollars on the line. It's not a huge competition. It's just we're out there to have a good time and catch some fish. So overall, river etiquette is just letting everyone have a good time on the water. Because there have been some videos of, I don't know about this year, but past years of guys, especially at Salmon River, especially at Town Pool at Salmon River, getting mad at someone across from them, walking across the bridge and ended up punching them or holding them under the water. Like this is not stuff I want to see when I'm out just trying to catch some fish and have a good time. So that wraps up today's video on river etiquette. I hope this video makes it even a little bit better of a place on the rivers, better than it already is. I hope this reaches the right people. Have a good time out on the water. Don't impede other guys' day on the water. Don't make it a bad day for them. Don't get in fights over the fish, and help people when you can. Overall, make it a good time and an enjoyable experience out in the water. If you guys want to catch more fish this upcoming salmon and steelhead season, check out my website called firstlightfishingco.com, where I have all the products you need to be successful out in the water targeting these beautiful salmon and steelhead, all shipped to your door with the fastest shipping times. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you out in the water.